Welcome back to the Observable Unknown. There is something missing from your experience right now. Not in a poetic sense, not metaphorically, literally. In 1999, psychologists Daniel Simons and Christopher Chabris conducted an experiment that has since become quietly famous. Participants were asked to watch a short video and count the number of passes made by a basketball team. Simple, focused, precise. But midway through the video, a person in a gorilla suit walks directly through the scene, stops, faces the camera, beats its chest, then leaves. A significant portion of participants never saw it. This is where the discomfort begins. They were not inattentive, they were not careless. They were doing exactly what they were instructed to do, and that is precisely what they could not see. Attention is not only what allows you to perceive, it is what prevents you from perceiving everything else. This phenomenon is known as inattentional blindness, the failure to perceive visible stimuli because attention is engaged elsewhere. The psychologist Arien Mack demonstrated this repeatedly. Objects do not need to be hidden, they only need to be unexpected. You do not experience everything that reaches your senses. You experience what survives editing. The brain is not overwhelmed by the world. It's selective, sometimes brutally so. Information that does not match expectation is often not processed at all, not suppressed, not ignored, not seen. Another experiment. Researchers Ronald, Rensink, Kevin O'Regan, and James Clark introduced subtle changes into visual scenes. A building disappears, a color shifts, a face is replaced. Participants looked directly at these images and failed to detect the changes. Not because the changes were small, but because perception is not continuous. It is constructed in fragments and stitched together into something that feels seamless. What you experience as continuity is a negotiation. Consider it a best approximation, a narrative of stability built from partial data. The world doesn't appear stable because it is stable. It appears stable because your brain is willing to ignore instability. In my own research, I have observed a parallel phenomenon, not in vision, but in identity. Human beings do not merely fail to see external anomalies, they fail to see internal contradictions, beliefs that do not align, behaviors that don't match intention, patterns that repeat without recognition. Not because they're hidden, but because they're unexpected, and what is unexpected is often excluded. In my volume, Chance as a Cultural Language, I explore how what we call randomness is often nothing more than unseen structure. What appears accidental may simply be what your perception failed to organize, and what you fail to organize, you eventually call chance. There is a high cost to this, not immediately, not dramatically, but structurally. When perception is filtered through expectation, reality does not correct you. It confirms you, and confirmation is a dangerous substitute for truth. Consider this carefully. If you can fail to see a gorilla standing directly in front of you, what else have you not seen? What parts of your life have passed through your field of perception unregistered because they didn't fit the model you were already maintaining? Attention is not neutral, it's a contract. Every active focus is an agreement to exclude everything else. And over time, those exclusions accumulate. If enough is excluded, the model doesn't merely interpret reality, it becomes it. You don't notice what's missing because your experience feels complete, but completeness isn't accuracy. Tonight, as you move through something ordinary, a conversation, a room, a passing moment, I urge you to ask yourself, what is here that I am not seeing because I'm not expecting it? The observable unknown is not always hidden. Sometimes it's standing directly in front of you, waiting for your attention to fail. If this has stirred some reflection in you, I urge you to write me at theobservableunknown@gmail.com or to text me directly at 336-675-5836. And wherever you've listened to this interlude, please leave a review if you're certain you noticed everything worth noticing. Until next time, be careful what you're not seeing.